Here to the bottom left in the red, the EG player, it is EGJYP. That's a lot of initials.
Yeah, EGRCJYP.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for this cooperation with LGIM. LGIM EGRCJYP. That would be something.
That would. I don't want to say it.
Top right, we have his opponent up ahead with 1-0 already. It is the Terran player for Team MVP. It is Noblesse. Noblesse oblige. Let's see if he can win game number 2.
Is that actually, or is that phrase? What does that phrase mean? Are you just? Did you watch Eden of the East? Is that where you're getting this from?
I have not even a single clue what that is. No, Noblesse oblige, basically. I can translate it into German. It means Adel verpflichtet. It just means that royalty... I have a hard time translating it into English, actually. It means that you have certain obligations if you are royalty.
I watched a series called Eden of the East, an anime series, and the premise of the series is 12 people are given an insane amount of money, and their task is to change the world with that money. And so, like, whenever they make an order with their phone, it's a noblesse oblige at the end, I think is what they said. So
yeah, might be. It isn't. I think it doesn't even come down to royalty all the time, but it's just basically, you know, the Spider-Man quote with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
It's something that is very similar. It heads into the same direction.
It's kind of like, well, if you have the power, then you have responsibilities with it.
Exactly. So yeah, the French quote is Noblesse oblige. In German, it's Adel verpflichtet. I'm not quite sure if you guys have something like this in English, but I feel it's probably exactly like with great power comes great responsibility.
I definitely recommend watching the series though if you haven't yet. It's pretty good.
I've never heard of it. You have to send me a link later.
Yeah, will do. Back to these openings, we have actually gas for Noblesse this time.
Yeah, on this 2-player map, he starts with a refinery and will put on a little bit more pressure. Ooh, adding the double gas really early.
Makes it feel like we're going to definitely see, in some way, Banshees.
Yeah.
Could be Cloak or could be Banshees with siege tanks.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting. So, a completely different style from what he did in the first game.
Oh, the probe actually sneaks by the Marine. This allows him to see 100% there's no command center here.
Yeah, but at this point he doesn't really know if the command center might just be built on the high ground, so he wants to confirm, of course. I doubt that he's able to sneak into the main base yet with the wall. Of course, there's no chance.
Yeah, but he's trying his best to get information, even zaps that depot. I highly doubt that'll become significant later. By the way, in the main base, the SCV does get in. He needs to pull it. I was close. Almost got killed before seeing the second gas. Will actually die on his way out, however. So neither player really able to get all the information they want.
Well, at this point now for JYP, he really needs to make a choice, and he is starting with an expansion. He wants to have his own Nexus, but he needs to try to find out what exactly his opponent is going to do. So he needs the robotics for the Observer, trying to get a glimpse of what exactly is going on. And of course the Observer is also really important since he's going to face Banshee played by his opponent. We already have the Starport and the Tech Lab being built.
Yeah, Tech Lab is done here, and nice micro by both players. In fact, the Zealot, though, is not as useful as the Stalker to have a lot of hit points on it. Oh, nice. That was really well done. He actually should be able to kill both these Marines now for sure. The Stalker down to 2 hit points.
Wow.
He actually could... If the Marine...
He could just turn around.
Yeah, he's got enough shields now. He should just be able to turn around. If the Marine stops the fire, he's going to die anyways.
Yeah. So. Well done by JYP. 3 kills on the Stalker.
And Cloak is coming out here. We're about to see if the factory's been moved closer to the ramp, which means it's probably going to be used for a rally. Will we see a tech lab go down that factory? I think so.
He adds an extra bunker right now, so he wants to be safe against any kind of pressure play by JYP, but the Protoss player, even though he's trying to... well, he's adding additional gates and he could try to execute some pressure, but I don't think he's really going to do too much damage, especially with the bunker now coming
With the second Stalker here, if he doesn't finish that bunker, though, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And actually, he will not finish the bunker. Now the SCVs come down. And he's going to have to reveal the tech potentially here.
One SCV has been killed. He needs to set another one to finish the bunker. There it is. 2 SCVs die. And he needs to repair, but yeah, he might actually be able to break through here.
Yep.
And he's supply blocked.
Yep. This means no additional units can be produced. For example, the Hellion he has queued up right now cannot be made.
But the big problem for him is that the Banshee is already heading towards his base, and the first observer is just now being built. There are not too many Stalkers at home, though.
Yeah, he's only got 2. This definitely should be able to kill about 5 probes at the very least before the observer is even really over there, before he can even start to shoot. The probes are being pulled immediately. Problem for him, of course, is that there are several of them that just came out of the Nexus.
Oh, the Stalkers with a bit of a bad pathing here, not in a good spot, and so far quite a lot of probes have been killed, 6 in total, and he's not done yet. He's heading into the main base and he's out for blood.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage, and actually he's losing units at the front. The Sentry is being targeted down. The Banshee with Cloak is able to kill several units already. He killed a Stalker and essentially will get the Zealot as well.
That's devastating now for JYP. Those 2 Banshees really doing a great job here.
Oh, and the Observer got lazy at the natural. He's killing more probes here.
Lost another 2, 8 probe kills already. Double command center now being built for Noblesse. He's really doing a great job here, and the second Banshee is now starting to head towards the main base of the Protoss.
Right now, if you look at economy-wise, this is a bit awkward for Noblesse, though. He's got to make double CC. He's getting an engineering bay as well, with no real production for bio units, so he's going to be really vulnerable for a long time. If JYP sees an opening, he can definitely take it, because there's no siege tanks here either.
Do you think he's going to take an opening and try to attack? For me, it really feels like Noblesse is trying to play a little bit more greedy, because he thinks that those 2 Banshees will be enough to pressure the Protoss.
That is a very good point, because with these 2 Banshees, it's very hard for JYP to say, you know what, I'm going to move out. He can make cannons. He's going to make 1 cannon in his main.
Oh, wow. I didn't actually expect him to build cannons here. I like it, but usually Protoss players seem to be really reluctant to invest those minerals.
Yeah, exactly, especially when they're not attacking, or at least moving out of the map, because if you have a cannon, yeah, it's really great for vision, but it's more so the fact of the matter is if your units are there and your observers there, you're not going to need the cannon.
And we had 10 workers killed by JYP, and at this point, oh wow, wait a second, JYP killed 5, Noblesse killed 10. That didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, okay, now it's that makes a lot more sense. But the thing is that even though we have all these worker kills by Noblesse, the Protoss player is ahead thanks to his Chrono Boost and to the 2 bases that he had a little bit earlier than his opponent. But now with the triple command center, of course, we are going to see a triple SCV production and 3 mules, so Noblesse will be able to catch up in no time.
This is the first moment that JYP gets a glimpse of the base, and based on the fact that he was making these cans and getting Immortals out, it looks like he was scared that there was going to be some sort of attack follow-up to this, but in reality it's actually Noblesse being super greedy. So Noblesse has kind of tricked him here, even unintentionally, and rather than attacking as a response to this, JYP is actually going to take his own 3rd Nexus. This is a pretty rare response in this situation. Usually you see people either stay on 2 base for a little bit longer, then hit with a heavy attack at the Terran's 3rd base while they take their 3rd, or sometimes you see them just attack as soon as possible, try to break the natural, but in this case he's just kind of keeping on his tech a little bit and taking his 3rd base, doing both.
It's gonna make for a very interesting game, especially since both of them are just now macroing it up, and those Banshees are aware of the expansion, so he has the scouting information, takes down another probe, and he's really just trying to do as much damage as possible, just pinning JYP to the back to defend. There's a 3rd Banshee still being escorted by 1 observer. But if you could just look at the main base of Noblesse, we have now double upgrades. He has +1/+1, and the armor is just about to finish, so the timing works out quite well. Can start the second wave of upgrades very, very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be an interesting late mid-game.
I wonder if this attack will really do well. The Banshees are not going to be too big of a problem with the cannons at home.
How many does he have, though? 1 per mineral line, right?
Yeah, and there's 3 Banshees, so if he really wanted to force a target, he could do it. And he's got to start making use of those soon. Here we go. This Banshee's going to walk right into a cannon. He pulls it back at the last second. Oh, that was a mistake.
And it was a little bit sloppy if you think about it. He could have just tried to camp those 2 assimilators.
Yeah.
I really didn't really see that there was only 1 cannon.
He may have even been microing on the minimap. Yeah, see, now he's lost another Banshee to the cannon, actually, at the natural. So the last Banshee is being targeted. He's got to deal with the Stalker force that's coming around to the right side of the map as well.
This is a big problem for Noblesse now. With all those Banshees that he just lost, he doesn't have anything to pressure JYP at home, so JYP can completely focus on this attack.
No combat shields yet on these Marines. This Colossus is very scary, even though Stim is done. Once he stims, the Colossus is going to have a really fun time fighting this army.
Noblesse now really has to think about what he's going to do next. So far he had the Banshees to pressure JYP and force a few mistakes from the EG Protoss. But now all the Banshees are gone. There's nothing that threatens JYP's economy anymore. And the Protoss player therefore is able to move in, force the third off the ground and back into the natural. So this is a very unfortunate spot for Noblesse now to be in. JYP still with a Harvester lead, takes a supply lead overall as well, and is getting farther ahead in the game.
Yeah, right now he's got that third base really kicking. With no cannon there, he could have done so much damage at the third base, but the Banshees, as far as I know, I don't even think he saw the third. Oh, he did see it actually when it was morphing, that's right.
He scouted it earlier.
Yeah, but he didn't ever try to harass it with Banshees or even a drop.
You know, the Banshee play that we saw in the beginning, I really felt that Noblesse was a little bit farther ahead than he actually was. JYP, with his mechanics that he had, was just doing a really, really great job of keeping his probe count at a decent level. And now he's just harvesting the benefits from what he saw earlier. It was really well done. This drop play, on the other hand, could change things, but, well...
The Observer is ready, that's the key here. He may even scan a second time to kill that. He's got to realize now that that's what happened.
JYP in position, there's no way for Noblesse to actually drop. He's trying to find an angle again, and of course he put the third base down at the right side of the map again to mine, but still he's behind Harvesters, and even the Mules don't really make up for this with all the scans that Noblesse has to use.
Yeah. You know, Storm 2-2 coming in here, Noblesse, he has 2-2, he hasn't started 3-3. The fact that he had to lift his orbital and the fact that he hasn't mined any gas from that third base is really starting to show here. Now he starts 3-3, but he can't produce 3-3 and get all of his Vikings out while continuing Marauder production on this few gases.
JYP with the War Prism here, a choice that I really like. He could go for Storm Drops if he wanted to, but whatever he decides to do with it, he will be able to put a bit of pressure onto his opponent. A fourth base being taken, depending on how exactly Noblesse is going to move his army, he might have to cancel it, but now JYP is bringing his own units into position. And here we go with a small engagement, but Noblesse immediately backs off.
Yep. Pulls back here, and he's got to be careful about these Vikings. He blinks in, but that Bioforce is just waiting for him. Noblesse can actually definitely take this. 3-3 is not done for JYP just yet. They're on even upgrades here.
Yeah, JYP in a really awkward spot with his army. The positioning was not the best, and now we have his opponent moving in, walking here at the ramp while those Vikings take the Colossi apart.
Storm is ready, and here we go. One Storm goes down. The SCVs here leading the charge, but the Storms are on top of the Bio. It doesn't look like he has enough DPS to actually knock this force down. He's going to be able to land his Vikings if he wants to. The Colossus on move command.
Wow, he loses the Colossus. That unit was so important, but JYP loses it, doesn't realize it's done, and walking right into the Terran army. And now Noblesse is using this momentum to take down the natural of JYP.
Yep, JYP looks speechless at the bottom left there. You can see him. He's going to try to go for a run by. There's nothing really here. He pulled all of his SCVs. And JYP's economy is still, I mean, if you think about it on terms of comparing it with Noblesse, it's in a decent spot, but he'll never be able to, I feel, build an army that can actually fight the army of the Terran. He's going to hope for some really good storms on the ramp, perhaps, here.
Yeah, this fight was just way too good for Noblesse. He got into the perfect position. JYP with a bit of an awkward unit control there for a second. He didn't really expect Noblesse to engage, and now the momentum carries. The natural is gone. The third base exposed. JYP looks like he's going to fall to Noblesse with the 0-2.
Yeah, he definitely looks that way, but he's trying his best here to buy time. He's got storms coming from two angles. If somehow he can crush this force, he'll be able to turn the game around. I just don't see it working here.
Especially with the Vikings having this sweet spot here, taking down the last Colossus. Those Spire units are really injured. All of them down to the red, and the storms are good, but they're just simply not good enough.
Archons being morphed here. The Vikings are a little bit dead weight right now, but he doesn't even need to land them. The Archons get pushed forward, but they're just going to die instantly. And JYP, though, is doing some damage. He actually killed that third orbital, like, just outright. It wasn't lifted.
There are only 15 SCVs left because he killed so many workers.
These Vikings. You know what? If JYP's storms have been a little bit better, he may have been able to turn this game around. I think Noblesse got a little bit complacent, maybe.
Noblesse just tried to kill him before his own economy would die, but JYP is not even playing anymore. The bottom left, you could just see him combing through his hair, and with the mules that Noblesse has, he can make up for the workers lost. Yes, he's down to 15 SCVs, but JYP has 28, and just look at the army supply here, 67 versus 14.
Yeah, he's scouting with the Observer right now on the main. I think he's just going to see everything and then type GG. There's no way he can take this Colossus.
He just doesn't have the army supply, and he tries to shield the Colossus as best as he can, but he can't protect it forever. And now without the anti-air being available, just a lift with the medivacs is enough to put that Colossus into a corner and take it down.
Beautiful last stand here by JYP.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying his best to hold on, but it's just not going to be enough. The cannon finishes off a few Mirage, but the last Bio Force will kill the sentries. He's going to have to type GG.
GG indeed. A valiant effort by JYP, doing his best here against a strong Terran opponent. Noblesse is the victor in the first best of 3 series of the day, though. Takes the game, and JYP is now down to Code B. Noblesse advances to the second round of Code A.
Yep, and we are going to have a 5-minute break. When we get back, it's going to be Bomber up against Classic.